One of my favorite stories is your experience in Colorado when a superior officer politically almost ended your career. Could you describe how you overcame that and how individuals should overcome a situation like that? Because it's just a brilliant story. Anybody that's been in a corporate environment can relate to that story. You didn't dodge it, you went along with it, and basically you succeeded.
I was a one-star general at Fort Carson, Colorado, working for a two-star general who was the commander of the base and the commander of the division. And we had very different points of view with respect to training and with respect to some of the things that were going on the post with respect to family life and whatnot. And I felt I had an obligation as the number 2 on the post to tell him about problems I saw and to see if I could work my way through them with him. And he didn't appreciate that. And so I knew I was running into headwinds with him, but I still felt I had an obligation to tell him what I was seeing, and I thought he had a need to know. And then it came time to write my efficiency report, and lo and behold, he gave me an efficiency report that was very negative in Army terms. And it essentially would have been the end of my career. And so he sent it out for me to read, and I read it, and I went in to see him, and I said, you know, I don't agree with this, but this is your view. He said, yeah, this is my view, but don't worry, there'll be opportunities for you to improve. I said, well, if this is what you believe, then this is what you believe, thank you. And went home and started writing my resume, figuring that, you know, maybe I have another year or 2 to hang around, but then they will ask me to go. So I had to start thinking about what I might do in civilian life. And unbeknownst to me, there were more senior officers in our higher headquarters who were watching the situation closely and were aware of the problems. And rather than being relieved or cashiered for what I was doing, they recognized that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and they moved us all. He went to overseas, I went to another post, and they made sure that that one negative report did not end my career. And then from then on in, I didn't have any difficulty. But it's the same thing. It was probably a failure on my part to some extent for not sort of reading the signals he was giving me that he didn't really welcome all of this stuff. But I was torn because I felt that was my responsibility. Everybody who is in a leadership position will face situations where you have to tell the boss what you think is the right answer or what you believe is true, even if you know it will not be accepted and you're liable to pay a price for it. That's what being responsible means. That's what leadership is all about. And if you can't do that, then I don't think you can be terribly effective leadership. You don't always work for a nice, great person. Sometimes you work for people who are not nice. They're shouters and screamers, and they're insecure, and their ego is always on their sleeve, and they're hard to work for. And you have to figure out a way to still do what you were expected to do and meet your own standard of performance, even if it has negative implications on your career. It initially did on mine, but others were watching. Goes back to the sweeping, mopping the floor thing. Someone's always watching. And more importantly, you're watching yourself.